You're talking about your offer from the wrong seat and leaving money on the table. Now, don't get me wrong. You've made sales and you've got money coming in, but it's not flowing how you want it to. And you've probably recently thought something like, why is my revenue not matching my effort? I know there's more. I know this work that I'm doing is valuable. So why don't they see it? I feel like I'm saying all the right things, but it's not converting. Or maybe you're thinking, do I need a better sales funnel? You know what? It's time for me to refresh my copy on my website. Or maybe, you know what? I need to push out some more content. That's the thing. I just need to push out more content. Sound familiar? And I know it's frustrating when you've made sales and then suddenly growth feels like it's just stalled or has become inconsistent, even though you're doing all the right things. But the good news is we can get your revenue growing quickly with just a few simple moves. And if you give me a few minutes, you'll know exactly what to go fix by the end of this video. Now, I'll give you the three things that are killing your sales. But first, I want to make sure you understand what's going on because a problem well defined is a problem half solved. So, when I say that your sales are stalled because you're talking about your offer from the wrong seat, it's like giving directions from the wrong starting point. So your directions could be right. You're telling someone how to get from point A to point B and getting them to that end destination, but you're giving them directions from your vantage point, from your starting point, not theirs. And so those directions, yeah, they're right. That's how you get to the outcome, to the end destination. But if you're not giving the directions from where they are, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And so they don't move. Now, the three things, let's dive into the three things that are killing your sales more specifically so you can walk away from this video knowing what to fix. Number one, you're describing the solution, not their current reality. And yeah, you might be thinking, but the solution is what they need. It is, but you're already coming in assuming that they have opted into the conversation. So it's like you are starting mid conversation and they're jumping in confused. They're like, wait, what? And so oftentimes that might mean that they scroll right past whatever you're talking about and you don't even hook those people that need what you offer and would be interested in it, but you haven't said it in a way that gets them to want to engage with the conversation that you are trying to have with them. Or maybe you've dove deep into the deep end talking about the features and the outcome, but you haven't even allowed them to buy into that discussion. And so um, the problem is that you're selling the solution without actually helping them see themselves in the conversation that you're having. And so you have to think about the context in which they're receiving the message that you're putting out into the market and making sure that you meet them where they are at the point where they are ready to have that conversation. So, for instance, um, in my many years of being a brand director on Tide, we would not start commercials off with like, you need clean clothes, buy Tide. Like, yeah, that's the gist of what we'd be saying. But to start a message off like that when somebody's not even thinking about their laundry, they're, mid TV series that they're watching or mid scroll on social media or in the middle of watching a YouTube video, they ain't thinking about their laundry. So they ain't trying to hear that. So we started off with like real life moments. So example of one of the pieces of copy that I worked on or TV advertisements, um, started off with kids playing outside and all of a sudden they start getting dirty, like making a mess rolling in the mud. Because then it catches the viewer's attention and they're like, ooh, and they automatically start thinking without us saying anything about clean clothes, they looking at like, these kids is making a hot mess. They go, ooh, I would hate to be the person having to clean that. And then whether they had kids or not, they could resonate with like, yeah, I've had moments where my clothes get dirty. And if it's a big mess, I want to make sure that my detergent can clean it. So we've cued for them the moments that they have experienced or can relate to where now they're ready for the next part of the ad where we bring in Tide as the thing that is helping them get clean clothes. But you have to meet people where they are at based on the context in which you are kicking off the conversation with them. And a lot of times that might be social content, that might be in an email newsletter, that might be in a YouTube video, but you have to meet people where they are at in the moment. So what is the scenarios that you can help them see themselves in that then makes them want to opt in to listen to the rest of the conversation? So that's point number one. Point number two, you're speaking from where you are, not where they are. And now you have to keep in context, you're the expert, which is why you're offering the solution. You've already moved past the problem that they are currently having, and your messaging is then reflecting your current perspective, but not your client's. And that is a struggle that I myself have even had many, many times where because I am so deep into the thing that I am offering the solution for, because I've developed my expertise and experience in solving that problem, that I often forget the stages of awareness that I've had to come through to be able to see clearly that this is the solution for that problem. And so many times what I've seen many of my clients face is that they are talking about the work from where they are, having already understood what is actually necessary to get to the solution. And then they forget that they didn't have that knowledge from the starting point. And so it's important to make sure that you are speaking from where your ideal buyer is right now for the stage that they are at, not your perspective. Remember, you don't want to give directions to a destination from the wrong starting point. You want to start where they are. Okay, now point number three, you're making them do the translation, which is why you aren't seeing sales move how you would like them to. And this looks like you making too many assumptions about what your ideal client already knows. And so to you, as the expert, just as we talked about, you can clearly connect the dots and see why the solution you're providing and your offer is exactly for what they need for where they're at right now and for where they want to be. But there's a lot of background knowledge that you have and experience that you have that's baked into that understanding that you are jumping off in the conversation assuming that they already have, but they don't. And because you're not clearly connecting the dots for them, you're leaving it up to your ideal buyer to connect the dots. You're leaving it up to them to figure out how your offer applies to where they're at right now. And let me tell you something. When people have to think too hard, they don't buy. Okay? So one of the things that people often miss is like, oh, I just need clarity in my communication. But the reality is, clarity isn't just what you say, it's what your ideal buyer understands. Have you given clarity for where they are at with the knowledge that they have at this moment? Clarity with the pain points that they are currently experiencing, because that's the key. It's not about it being clear to you. It's about it being clear to them. And there's often the saying of people don't want to know what you know until they know that you care. That applies here. People not trying to hear the solution that you offer until they know that you actually care about where they are at right now. And how do you show that you care about where they are right now? You show them that you fully understand their current location, where they are, what that pain point feels like, how it shows up in their day-to-day life, the thoughts that are going through their head, what is the thing that they are experiencing that is driving frustration. And when you then start with like showing that you care by showing that you understand them and where they are at, they then are ready to listen to your solution. But don't make assumptions that they're going to automatically connect the dots about how your solution solves their current pain point and can get them to the destination that they want. You need to connect the dots for them. So, the three things that you want to be able to do is speak from your ideal buyer's current reality. Speak from your ideal buyer's current location. And then make sure you connect the dots to the solution for them. That is how you serve your client over selling your client. And when you can do that effectively, that's when revenue unlocks. Now, if you want more help growing your revenue, and the first step that you know that you need is to be able to understand where you're missing sales. Because as I said, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. And the problem that a lot of business owners have is that they don't clearly understand why their revenue isn't moving how it should. And it drives frustration. But don't worry, I created a diagnostic that will help you identify where to focus your efforts to see revenue grow, to match your efforts. And it only takes 5 minutes. You can find the link below this video to take it today. Have a blessed day.